Fine. Well, team. So we discussed yesterday the first chapter of WebSphere application server administration, which is purely a theoretical discussion, which is nothing but the first chapter architecture. Then we'll go for the second chapter, topology and terminology. Very, very, very interesting theoretical discussion. The second chapter, topology and terminology, and the third chapter, installation. Both I will combine and I will take as a single shot for long 2.5 hour to 3 hour session when it is my regular classroom training, but it's not happening here in the online training class. Okay, so that's why I am taking as a second chapter topology and terminology as one part, and then I will get into the third chapter, installation. But here you will get more explanation, because in this topology and terminology the installation things also discussion will come, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Okay, clear, fine. Okay, and we are done with the architecture, and we are done with the 10% of the WAS, because we divided as a 10 chapters, right? We are done with the 10 chapters of the say 10% of the WAS. The first chapter is done. Yeah, let me start the second chapter, topology and terminology. Very, very, now this one, topology and terminology, also a theoretical discussion only what I'm going to discuss today. Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful session, which is going to be the complete practically, because we'll enter into installation tomorrow, so that you will come to know the actual beauty of the WebSphere, and where I am very strong with that actually. Okay, fine. So welcome to the second chapter, the topology and terminology. In this chapter, see, topology. What do you mean by topology? Topology is nothing but arrangement. The word itself is going to be arrangement. Okay. Terminology means the language, the words which I used in the entire web sphere. I divided as a terminology. Okay. So this is the chapter, topology and terminology, and this is going to cover the arrangement of WAS, WebSphere application server arrangement, and terminology will explain you all the words whatever you are going to get: product binaries, profiles, cell, node, server, node agent, okay, node group, core group. So all the terms and whatever generally in entire WebSphere you are going to get, right, everything will be discussed in this chapter itself. So which will give a very clear picture, clear agenda before getting into the even when you get into the remaining chapters also. Okay, that is about the terminology. Now come for the topology part. Now let us discuss about the topology part now. Okay, the second chapter, in that the first part of the second chapter, topology, right? Yeah, as the word itself is saying, topology is nothing but arrangement. So how you will arrange topology of WAS arrangement, topology of a class. This is a class arrangement, right? Sir is there, students are there, everybody is listening, and the setup is there. The total setup, classroom, class topology. So how we can arrange? The class topology is arranged as online now, and we have one more topology of class if you take as a classroom training. So the topology of a WAS training is two types, right? I'm saying generally. Okay, so online training is one topology of a classroom training, and classroom is also one type of training. So in the same way, now we are going to discuss what is going to be the topology of a WAS, WebSphere application server, how it is going to be arranged in the market and in the environment. See, we have two types of topologies. Okay, so entire, you as a WAS administrator, whatever you are working, you will see only two types of arrangement of WAS is going to be there in your environment. Okay, the first arrangement is stand-alone topology. Stand-alone topology of WAS. Another way of arrangement of WAS is network deployment cell topology. So we can arrange the WAS in two ways. The topology of WAS is two. What is that? Stand-alone topology. Another one is network deployment cell topology. Well, now you are able to arrange the WAS means what you are going to do? You are going to do the installation, right? Then only the WAS will be arranged. So to do the installation, you need the software. So that's the reason you are able to arrange the WAS in two ways, means you have a two types of softwares only. One is base software, another one is ND software. Okay, one is base software, base or express. We have a two types, both are same. Okay, base or express software. Another software is network deployment software, WebSphere application server, base or express software, WebSphere application server, network deployment software. Okay, we have two types of softwares. That's why we can arrange the WAS as a two types. One is stand-alone arrangement topology, another one is network deployment arrangement, which is nothing but networking deployment topology. So now we have two types of softwares: WAS base or express, WAS ND software. Now, if you do the installation of base, if you do the see, the difference between base or express is both are same. Only the difference is base will, you can install the base software in n number of systems. If you go for express, it will be limited for 5 to 7 systems, I think. That, except that, nothing is different. That's the reason we are not going to talk about express now. We are going to talk only about base and ND. Okay, so coming to the base, so if you do the installation of base software, what is going to happen, the WAS is going to be arranged as stand alone topology. It's going to be, the word itself is going to be say, it's going to be stand as a alone. It's going to be stand as a alone individual when, if you did the installation of base software. So we have one type of software of WAS. If you did the base software installation, the WAS is going to be arranged like a stand-alone topology. And next type of software what we have ND software, right? Network deployment software of WAS. If you did the ND software installation, the WAS is going to be arranged like network deployment cell topology. See here, you are seeing the word, the topology name itself is saying network deployment cell topology. A cell will be formed, inside that it will be in the network, and as well as a deployment manager which is going to be act as the home and administrator. Okay, that's why the topology, the name itself also is like ND topology, network deployment cell topology. A cell will form, inside that cell there will be a deployment manager which is going to manage. Okay, clear, right? So we have two types of softwares, base or express. Forget about express, we'll talk now, from now onwards, only base. We have two types of software, base and ND WAS softwares. And we have two types of arrangement of WAS. One is standalone arrangement, another one is network deployment cell arrangement, right? If you did the installation of base, the WAS is going to be arranged as a stand-alone individual. If you did the installation of ND, the WAS is going to be arranged like network deployment cell arrangement. Clear? That's fun. Now come for the installation. Part. So you have two
Sorry for
types. Ravi, are you able to see now?
yeah, I'm watching only desktop. That's it. You are not going to share any theoretical information, right, sir?
Yes, you are able to see my desktop or not? That's what I'm asking. You are able to see my desktop, right?
Yeah.
Now. Yeah, fine.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you concentrate on my voice. That's it. Okay. I'm not showing anything from my system. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So where we stop? Okay, yeah, we have two types of softwares, right? WAS point of view, we have two types of software. One is base and another one is ND. And by using these two, we have, if we have a third one, maybe there is a chance of third type of setup of topology. We have two types of softwares, right? That's why we have only two types of WAS setup. One is, if you did the installation of base, then the WAS is going to be arranged as a stand alone topology. It's going to be stand as a alone individual. If you install the ND ND software, it's going to be like network deployment cell arrangement. A cell will be formed inside that deployment, a managing thing will be there, and that type of setup will be arranged. This is the only two topologies what we have for the WebSphere environment. Clear? Now come to the part how if you want to do the installation, and the same way to do the installation of WAS also, we have two types of installations. Okay, we have two types of installation. We have two types of softwares, and we have two types of WAS arrangement, and we can do installation in two ways. One way is we are going to call it as a silent installation. Another one is GA installation, which is going to be graphical user interface installation. So we can do installation in two ways. One is silent installation, another one is graphical installation. So when you come for the silent installation part, a response file is going to be take care of everything in the backend. Okay, so remember the installation part we can do in two ways. One is a silent installation, another one is a GA installation. So when the best one to suggestible when the setup is installation going on, silent installation only. But if you want to do the installation in silent, the response file is going to play a major role, and not only major role, it is the way how the installation of silent is going to happen by using the response file only. Okay, so for every software, any version, whether it is a 6.0 or 7.0, 8.0 or 9.0, every version, every software version will come with a response file. And what you will do now in the GUI, what you will do, you will select the ticks and next finish, and you will choose all the path where the product binaries has to be installed, where the profiles has to be installed, and where the what is the node name, and what is the cell name, what is the JVM's name. Everything you are going to manually you are going to modify, and you are going to next and finish, right? But when you come for the silent installation, all whatever the modifications you are doing in the GUI part, all those you will modify in the response file. And from the from the non-GUI part, from the command prompt, you will execute a list of commands, and you will recapture that modified response file, and in the back end the installation will happen. That's the how the silent installation is going to happen. Okay, so everybody is clear? Anybody has any doubts up to now? Okay, fine. If everything is fine, then let me go ahead. Now let us see a theoretical discussion how it is going to be once the installation is going on. So now the first part one is here. The part one is installation of base. Okay, and then we will observe after installation of base, we will observe how the WAS is arranged. That means how it is going to be arranged. It's going to be arranged as a standalone. And then we'll see how the standalone WAS environment is going to be part 3. And then once you are completely have the grip of this, the part 1 part is clear. Then part two is installation of ND software, and then we will see how the network deployment cell is created, and we will see what are the different profiles are there, and how those are interlinked, and how the federation is happened, how the cell is creating, and everything. That is going to be the part 2. Okay, so now coming to the part 1 part. What is the part 1 part? Installation of base software and seeing how the WAS is arranged as a standalone. Okay, so here see part one part. I am going to show you only the because the base environment and standalone base software, and as well as it's going to be standalone environment, right? So to know more on how the environment of standalone is going to be, seems to be, to get a knowledge, we are going to do the installation of 6.0 or 6.1 of base. That's it. Okay, once you are clear with that, the part 2 is there, right? Part 2 will do with, because part 2 the topology and terminology, the vast topology of network deployment topology is very very important, where most of your people are working, right? So the part 2 will do the installation of 6.1, then we will do 7, then we will do 8, and then we'll do 9 also. Okay, all the versions from 6.1 to 9. We will install each and every ND WAS software, and we will see the difference from one version to one version to one version. What are the changes that is happening? Okay, and in this flow, all you guys will get a complete clarity of how your real-time environment seems to be, and whatever the minimum doubts, whatever you have with your environment, how it was set up, how it was interacting, and everything you will come to know, because we are going to start with 6.1 version and we will end up with 9, and you will come to know what are the changes happened with version to version, and all those things you will come to know very clearly with the practical point of. That is how we are going to deal. Okay, so now let us have a theoretical discussion now about the part 1. What is the installation of base and arrange, how it was going to be, seems to be how the WAS is going to be arranged as a standalone. That's what we are going to discuss the theoretical discussion now, and practical we'll see from tomorrow. Okay, when come for the theoretical discussion, okay, the main discussion of theoretical one is you have to observe what will happen when you did the installation of base. So coming for this installation part, as I already discussed, this installation can be done in two ways, right? One is GUI interaction, another one is silent installation. If it is a silent installation, you are going to open a response file and you are going to modify all the content of response file, and from the non-GUI command prompt you are going to execute the installation by using some commands and by calling that modified response file. That is how the installation will happen. So now let us have a theoretical discussion, and practical will be tomorrow. You will come to know very clearly how it was going to happen. When we discuss about the theoretical discussion now, what is going to happen when you did the installation? That's what I'm going to give a theoretical discussion right now. See, you copied WAS 6.0 or 6.1 base version into your physical system. Okay, remember this one very clearly. You copied the software into your physical system. I am specifying as it's a physical system because the WAS WebSphere application server which you are going to administrate is not at all a physical server. It is a logical server which is created under a node which is created under a cell which is created because of created a profile. Okay, it is not at all a physical server, it is a logical server. That's the reason in the real time we are going to call them as a JVM, a Java virtual machine. It's not a physical machine. Okay, the physical system is which you are working, whether the OS Wintel server or whether the OS is a Linux or Unix, any Unix flavor, Linux or Solaris, whatever it may be, any Unix flavor. But the physical system, you are going to copy this base software. Right now you are going to do the installation. In while you are doing the installation, whether GUI or non-GUI, that's a different story. When you did the installation, see, the first installed documents and first installed files all together, we are going to call them as a product binaries. We are going to call them as a product binaries. So when you did the installation of WAS base, what will be created? Whatever the files, whatever the XML files, whatever the folders, whatever created, everything bunch, we are going to call them as a product binaries. We are going to call them as a product binaries. Generally, the product binaries will be created, if it is a Windows, it will be created in C, program files, IBM, WebSphere, App Server. That is the path where the product binaries are created. If it is any flavor of Linux, it's going to be OPT, IBM, and WebSphere and App Server / OPT. Right? Those are going to be the path where we are going to specify. If it is a Wintel server, we are going to specify the path C, program files, IBM, WebSphere, App Server, and if it is a Unix flavor / OPT / IBM, WebSphere, App Server. Those are going to be the generally path. So now when you did the installation, first whatever created, we are going to call them as a product binaries, right? The path where it is created, that path we are going to call it as a WAS home or installation home or installation root. Okay, we are going to call it as a WAS home, right? It's going to be a WAS home. Be clear. Okay, it's a WAS home or installation home or installation root. So what will be there in WAS home? What will be there in installation home, installation root? Product binaries. What will be there? Product binaries. Clear? So when you did the installation, whatever created first, we are going to call them as a product binaries, and the path where the all product binaries are available, that path we are going to call it as a WAS home. the home of a WAS. Remember this, okay? We are going to call it as a WAS home. Clear? So now, by using this product binaries, which is there in your WAS home, by using this product binaries, which is there in your WAS home, you are going to create a profile. You are going to create a profile. In one statement, I can say a profile is nothing but heart of your WebSphere application server administration. Okay. How you will create that profile? You will create that profile by using the product binaries which is available in your WAS home. Okay. In your WAS home, all product binaries are created. By using that product binaries, you are going to create a profile. What is the exact definition of profile? Profile is nothing but which is going to create a complete runtime environment of a WAS as a 3-layer cell level configuration files inside that node level configuration files inside that server level configuration files. Once again, I'm saying the definition of profile. The definition of profile is a profile is nothing but which is going to create complete runtime environment of a WAS. Complete runtime environment of a WAS as 3 layers cell level configuration files, inside that node level configuration files, inside that server level configuration files, the server which you are saying, the application server which you are going to administrate, right? That is the one which is created because of profile. That's the reason profile we are going to call it as a heart of the web sphere. The profile which is created from the product binaries which is there in the WAS form. Because whatever I discussed right now is a very important concept. You should be very clear with this for going forward. If anybody has any doubts regarding up to now whatever we discussed, please shout.
You told like if we take the base license copy, so
Mhm.
we can install it in n number of PCs. And
N number
if
of
we
physical,
purchase one,
so see, n number of physical systems. Yeah. Yes.
okay, n number of physical. And for the express, it's like 5 to 6
Yes,
PC, like
exactly.
physical systems.
Yeah. The
So,
license will be
so how so how licensing will be done at for the ND? So if I if I want to install it on different physical boxes, so I need to take the license for that multiple times or just for one time?
no, one time will be more than enough. Okay.
Okay, so need to one time and I can put in n number of PCs.
N number of
And
physical systems. Okay. N number of physical system. In the same way, here also, if you take the software of base, you can install in n number of physical systems. But if you take the software
okay,
of express, it will be only for 5 to 7 systems. See, for ND, there is no point like a restriction. But for base, there is a chance of go for n number of physical systems or go for a specific 5 to 7. Suppose see group modules is a small company here, okay, and it has just 4 applications, understand, and it has only 4 applications. The application, if the application run the group modules, business will be perfect. So if all 4 applications are Java related applications, and one is online training dot group modules online training.com, one application, on group modules payment.com, one application, group modules faculty information dot in, one application, group modules students information, one application. So we have 4 Java applications for group modules is an organization. So in this scenario, is I need for run these 4 applications, I need just a 4 physical servers, what I feel. So if I take a license of Express, that's more than enough for me, right?
yes, correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
got
So
your
that's
point.
the reason. Yeah, that's the reason. So if that the 7 systems is more than enough, right? So I will approach the IBM and he will give me the package for 5 lakhs. That's it. If I go for the base, not express, then he may charge for 20 lakhs. If I go, because base can be installed n number of systems, right? Maybe he will charge 20 lakhs. If I go for ND, maybe he will charge 50 lakhs, which it can be n number of systems. You got the point, right, Akash? Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
Okay, fine. So everybody is clear up to now, right? So what is going to happen when we did the installation? It's very clear and very simple. When you did the when you copy the software, base software into a physical system, and when you click on installation, whether it is a GUI or non-GUI, when you did the installation, whatever the files first created, we are going to call them as a product binaries. We are going to call them as a product binaries. By using that product binaries, by and where those are created, that path we are going to call as a WAS home. In the WAS home, product binaries will be there. So by using the product binaries which is there in the WAS home, by using the product binaries which is there in the WAS home, we are going to create a profiles. So how many types of profiles? Depending upon version to version, the story will be different. But the thing is very clear that profiles are going to create by using only product binaries which is there in WAS home. Clear? Now we are installing the base of 6.0 now, right? So here, by using the product binaries of 6.0 base, by using the product binaries of 6.0 base, I can create only one type of profile. I can create only one type of profile, but the same type of profile I can create n number of times. By using the product binaries of base 6.0, I can create only one type of profile. The same type of profile, it will be created like a cell inside that node, inside that server 1. Okay, it only one type of profile. How it was going to create? A cell inside the cell, a node inside that server 1 is the application server, which is a JVM server 1. One type of profile. And the same type of profile I can create n number of times. That means by using the product binaries of 6.0, I created a profile 1, and it is created cell inside that node, inside that server 1. And by using the same product binaries, I can create a profile 2, but it also will be created, it's also going to be created like a cell inside the cell, a node inside the node, there will be a server 1, again server 1. But there is no relation between profile 1 and profile 2. It's going to be as a standalone individual. Okay, now by using the same product binaries, I can create a one more profile 3. How it was going to be created? Again same cell inside that node, inside that server 1. We can create only one type of profile, but the same type of profile you can create n number of times. I created profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, and I can create profile n number of times. But profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, profile n, everything seems to be same, like cell inside that node, inside that server 1, but there is no relation at all with profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, profile n, because you installed base, you are did the profile creation by using base product binaries. And if you did this, the WAS is going to be arranged as a stand-alone individuals. It's going to be stand as a alone. Profile 1, it's created cell node server 1 individual. Profile 2, cell node server 1 individual. Profile 3, cell node server 1 individual. Profile n, the same story. You can create only one type of profile. Same type of profile you can create n number of times, but no relation with profile 1, profile 2, profile 3. No relation at all. But each and everything is going to work as a stand-alone. Clear with the base installation and all this explanation? Very, very important explanation, because the same explanation will be there for ND, which is very, very, very interesting. How the different types of profiles are coming to the picture with the different type of versions, and what is the purpose of those profiles, and how those are going to be beautifully mapping with the federation in the network deployment. That is a different story, part 2. But you should be very clear with this part 1 theoretical explanation what I tell now, and the same thing will be explained very beautifully tomorrow with the practical point of view. You will get a complete picture. But if you got any doubt right now, please let me know. I will explain again and again and again n number of times, because it's a very, very, very precious and very, very important. Well, so anybody has any doubts whatever I discussed right now, the theoretical discussion of installation, the base installation? Ravi, can I ask you one question?
Sure, sir. Sure.
See, I said already, as by using the product binaries of base, I can create a different profiles, right? Different profiles.
Only one profile, sir.
Very good. We can create only one profile, but the
Yeah.
same profile I can create n number of times.
N number of types.
Yeah,
Again, node.
n number of times. Yeah, n number of times I can create, right? Same I can create n number of times. Now
Yes.
it was going to create like cell, inside the cell
Cell.
node, inside the cell there will be node, inside the node there will be a JVM call with the name as a server 1, right? Server 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any chance to create another JVM by using that node?
I guess yes, sir. We can.
No, the answer is no. If your guess, as you said, if it is yes, remember, if it is yes, then there is a concept called, if you create another JVM by using the same node, by using already server 1 is there, by using the same node, if you are able to create another JVM, then you can make it as a clustered, right? That server 1 with another JVM, you can make it as a clustered, then it was going to be a network setup. Got the point? But it is a base, right? So
Yes,
base,
sir. Got it.
it is going to be a stand alone. There is no chance at all that node is dedicated only for server 1. There is no point of creating another JVM under that node, which is a base one. Okay, base software created profile, and you can create only one type of profile. The same type profile you can create n number of times, but no relation with one profile to another profile, another profile, another profile. Okay, yeah.
Sir,
Akash,
one
yeah,
one question. Yeah, one
yeah.
question here.
Hmm.
So, at the web sphere level, clustering is not possible at base with the base product.
Not,
But
at
if
all, not at all. Yeah.
yeah, but if I created two standalone profiles, like two profiles,
Okay,
uh,
okay,
I mean
okay,
same, yeah, and I deployed the same application
okay,
on both of the profiles, and I
okay, okay,
externally set one HTTP server. So is it
okay.
possible to distribute load between that two?
No, you're saying that you created two standalone profiles, okay, and you deployed the
Yeah,
same application into two JVMs.
same
I mean,
application.
the same
Yeah,
application, but you want to map these two
application.
JVMs with externally only one HTTP server. That means one web server. That's what you are
Yep.
asking,
So
right? Yes, that you can do.
yeah,
Web
yeah.
server, web server can
Okay,
be
means
for both application servers, but there is no relation between first profile application server, server 1, and second profile, server 1. No relation between those two, but both are using same web server. That can be happen. Yeah. For the IP address of that server 1, profile 1, and the request coming, this IP address of server 1 is different. So there is no point of that clustering point, right?
yeah, no, actually, if my organization is small, and still, if I want to, yeah, with the base product only, if I want to do the same, like not
Like yeah,
clustering.
yeah.
Actually, we
I got
cannot
your
say it's a
point.
clustering, but
Yeah.
partially. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
partially some
yes,
load
yes.
distribution I want. So
Yes, yes, yes. It was just doing a load distribution. I mean, a workload. It was reducing a
yeah,
workload
yeah,
instead of one JVM. It was the workload is happening with the two JVMs. That's it. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
And
the reason.
basically, why we yeah, yeah, and basically why we set up clustering, because of if one is down, so another can take up. So in
Yes,
this
yes.
case, so even
Mm.
one JVM brought down, another will be there. So that is why
Yes,
partially I can
but
say it's not
yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah,
Partially it is there, but here remember, all the requests coming for one will be blocked in this case. But when the clustering, even all the requests coming from the first one will be converted to second one, right? You got the point? See
um,
here, see here, 10 requests are coming in the base setup, whatever you said, 10 requests are coming. 5 request will go to the first JVM and 5 request will go to the second JVM. Okay. Akash, understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, see, 5 requests are going to first server 1 and 5 requests are going to second server 1. Now, workload is reduced for sure because all 10 is not going for 1, but it was distributed. Work is distributed. But if server 1 is down, if it is failed, then all 5 requests which coming for the server 1 is not going to be diverted to another server 1. It's not going to happen. All those 5 will be closed. That's it. Only the 5 which is coming
Okay.
for the another server 1 will be executed. But when you come for the clustering point of view, what will happen? If the server 1 is down, failed, all that 5 requests will be diverted to the another JVM. I mean, another cluster member.
So is it here there is no facility like if that is a down,
Yes.
so web server
No,
will
no, no.
come to know,
Conversion,
right?
conversion. So
Okay,
that
okay,
means
okay.
only here as a standalone as your setup, only workload will be distributed. That's it. But there is no point that
Okay.
oh, high availability. That's called high availability. HA. WLM and HA is nothing but clustering, right? So high availability is not going to
Yeah.
happen in the standalone. Okay. And remember one more thing here. In that node, we are not able to create another JVM, right? That's the reason. The node, we are going to call it as a unmanaged node. We are going to call it as a unmanaged node. Okay. The base software node, we are going to call it as a unmanaged node because that's not going to be managed by anything. And remember this point, the node is unmanaged node in standalone setup. But when you come for the ND software installation or ND topology, ND setup, the node is going to be managed node. Is going to be managed by deployment manager or job manager. We'll discuss it later. But the node is going to be a managed node, which is going to be managed by a management profile. That part we'll discuss it later. But now the node which you are seeing in the base is a unmanaged node. It's not going to be managed by anything individual. Okay, that's the reason we cannot create another JVM in that. That's the reason there's no point of clustering in standalone. Those are going to be stand as a alone individual, but the same individual alone profiles, the same type you can create only one type. The same type you can create n number of times. That is
Yes.
how the installation, and after installation what how the things is going to happen. And the same thing and tomorrow is going to be very very interesting. I am going to show you the practical, and tomorrow we'll finish up with the part 1 of practical one, and we'll start the theoretical discussion of part 2 tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, sir. So, like WebSphere, if I want to purchase WAS, but with the IBM HTTP server, so that licensing is different for HTTP server as
No,
well,
no,
right?
no, both,
Or
no, both all together. See, if you purchase a base software, suppose base software, or and you can purchase only these two, right? If you purchase base software, what will happen? You will get the whatever the version. Suppose you take the version of 9, 8. Suppose you take the version of 8 WAS base 8.0. So then what you will get as a package? You will get WAS 8.0 base software, and as well as IHS 8.0 software and plugin 8.0 software. All these three together will come as a one package. Okay.
okay. And
So
sir,
here
That's
one
IHS
the
means web server, right, sir?
that's the reason when you go for this all three they will give you as a package. No, you will do the installation of base, and you will create a n number of profile, the same type, profile 1 and profile 2, and you will create one IHS. Okay, and this profile 1 and profile 2 both you mapped with that IHS by installing the plugin which is already there. Akash got the point, right?
yes, I got the point.
Yeah, yeah.
And sir, like
Yeah,
one more question. Basically, we will get setup everywhere. I mean, I can get the WAS setup from anywhere. So
Mhm.
basically, licensing things come when we want support from them, right?
Yes, yes.
So
And one more thing,
in
actually, what is happening now? I am also having some software of everything. I will share with all you guys. Don't worry. But it was not good. For practice point of view, it will be okay. But you cannot use that software. I'm going to give you WAS 6.0, 7, and 8 and 9. Everything base and all the software. I made a beautiful setup actually in a Linux and as well as Wintel. The complete dump I will share with everybody. You can practice like anything, but the thing is you should not use that for environment. I mean a real time see whatever the software and whatever I'm going to share with you and whatever you are practicing is a non it's going to be a non production, right? It's going to be like you are just practicing, that's it. If you put that into a systems and if you put that systems into the network, if the whole world is able to access your system, then it will be an issue. It's not going to happen because license issues will come and some cases will be happen.
answer, if internally like or 5 or 10 member, it's a 50
Yeah.
or 100 members team or like that.
uh,
So
uh.
that in that case they can use. I mean, so it will
No,
come to know
see, even
to the
if you are
idea, not.
100 member,
I
if
mean,
it is even if it is 100 members also, see, I already share this software with n number of people of my students, right? What is going to happen after I share?
yes.
You will copy this software into your laptop. That means your standalone system, and you will do the practice installation and all the things. But you are not going to put your laptop into the network, and you are not going to interact with the world, right?
No, I mean, if there is a case like I have my 100 people's team, and internally I hosted some website for just for
Okay.
the team. So in
Okay.
that case also, I mean, it is
No,
wrong
it's not.
only,
No,
but
no.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not going to happen because why? It's very simple. If 100 members or 10 members or 5 members, once it's come into the network, it's not going to be work out because that IP
Okay,
address.
so intranet.
You know that, right? That the physical system of yours, once the installation is happened, your physical system IP address will be registered with that WAS software. Okay, once you come into the network and if you want to use that software, then obviously IBM will come to know whether it was a license and they already paid to them or not. Everything they will come to know.
Okay, then it's a public. I mean,
Uh,
once that
yeah,
public IP will get
it
assigned,
will,
so
yeah,
basically
fine. Then
it's
only it will be work out. So it's not at all going to happen. Yeah.
okay. Okay,
And
basically
there
they
will
are
be
taking public IP.
yeah,
Once public
there
IP
will
will
be
be assigned.
yeah, you know that, right? Public IP and as well as there will be a leased lines which is going to be in the
Yeah.
network for
Yes,
huge
yes, yes,
execution.
yes.
Leased lines, network related is big story. It's not at all going to happen with our software. But here I prepared, for Linux version I have one separate software. For Wintel I have separate software. For Linux point of view, I created a VMware where you can install Linux and as well as Windows. And we made a beautiful setup. Don't worry, for 6 and as well as 6.1 and as well as 7 and as well as 8. But 9, I know I need to download and I need to check it out because I'm not in. I don't have in my pool that 9, which is the latest one. Okay, that will that for sure for you guys. With this, I will add that 9 also because my some of my students, they are into corporate trainers and I can get that software from them and I can share with you all you guys. Okay, no problem. So then if everyone is clear, then let me close the session then now. Okay.